Welcome. It is the Nisha Jackson Show. She is Nisha Jackson, and this is her show. Nisha, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay, no offense. I mean, you're always beautiful and fun and spunky, but you look, can I say you look a little frazzled without making it being, I'm not trying to be offensive in any way. It's just you look a little frazzled.
Well,
because you're always doing something. What are you doing now that's got you so, am I right or am I being just awful?
Well, I appreciate you stating the obvious. Yes, I think I have fit in too many things this morning, which is my classic daily problem.
That is a Nisha Jackson thing.
That's a Nisha Jackson problem.
Okay, what did you do today? I mean, we're recording this pretty early in the morning on a Sunday, by the way.
Right.
So
it is Sunday.
Yeah. What do you do?
And so today is my assistant's birthday.
Okay.
She's been my assistant for 30 years. Her middle name is not Grace as a mistake. Her middle name is Grace for me. Anyone that can hang out with me for 30 years is just an amazing person. I just came off a 3-day retreat, company retreat. We put on these retreats once a quarter, and it's just a great time for regrouping and educating and inspiring the people that treat our patients that work for us. And it's just a great time. And all of our administrative team was there. So it was just an exhausting 3 days, but so awesome. So I got home late last night, and tonight is a dinner party for my assistant I'm having here at my house because I'm just that crazy to say yes to that.
You're doing a party for your assistant.
Yes, I'm having a dinner party, and of course, I don't like people to bring things, so I want to fix it all myself. But she's very important to me. She's one of the most important people in the world to me.
Okay.
And I don't do dinner parties. I don't take them lightly. Like, they got to be over the top. So I got up at 3:30 this morning, and I started fitting too many things in. Yeah. I knew I had this to do today. And I think I told you that we were going to start at a certain time. And of course,
you're 30 minutes late.
Then I was 45 minutes late, and I'm just fitting in too many things because, I'm just nutty that way. And
what's on the menu, by the way?
What's that?
What's on the menu?
Tonight we're having halibut and steak. I'm going to do grilled Brussels sprouts and asparagus and a really big, beautiful salad with some berries and nuts in it. And then cheesecake with fresh berries because they're in season.
And you're making all of this yourself?
Yes. I love to cook.
You don't have
you're I'm just not sure how I'm going to fit it in.
Okay. So how do you handle this? Are you just going to freak out all day long? Or do you have tips and techniques that you would see? If Nisha Jackson came to Dr. Nisha Jackson, what would you tell her?
Oh, if Nisha Jackson came to Nisha Jackson, I'd tell her she's crazy and she needs to calm down. No, I'm kidding. I do sometimes go a little over the top, but this is a good segue into my conversation today because I want to talk about how important it is to keep your vibration high. We kind of touched on this, Rusty, when I came back from Rhythmia retreat.
Right, and I start off by saying that it sounds a little nutty. I mean, no offense, it just sounds nutty.
I know, it sounds a little nutty. And a lot of people don't even know, what is a vibration? Are you supposed to be vibrating high? Are you supposed to be vibrating low? What is that? And is that some woo-woo thing, right?
Right.
So we touched on it a month or two ago, and we got so much response from those two podcasts that I touched on vibration that I just thought maybe we should dig a little deeper into what is vibration and how can you change this for yourself so that you don't really do what I just said I did this morning, because that was a little crazy. But the reality is, I guess it's good I explained that.
Yeah.
Because the reality is every day people's schedules are overpacked, right?
Sure.
People are always in a hurry. They're trying to fit too many things in. There's all these distractions with text messages and emails and phone calls and whatever else is going on. And we just try to fit too much stuff in. And if we're not vibrating, that means that our overall state of well-being. So vibration is just really kind of an easy way to define vibration would be an evaluation of your overall sense of well-being or
Okay.
your overall
Am I-
your overall being.
Am I asking a stupid question by asking how I check my vibrations or how I do more vibrations? Is that a stupid question?
Well, we're really talking about energy vibration. So
Okay.
we're talking about well, everything in the world vibrates. We now have scientific ways of measuring vibration. We can measure vibration in vegetables versus the vibration in a Big Mac. I don't think you probably have to even guess the differences in vibration. Vibration of vegetables, green leafy vegetables is like off the chart. Vibration of a Big Mac, I'm not making this stuff up. Vibration
Okay.
of a Big Mac, way low. Like, so if you just think it in terms of energy, who doesn't want high vibrating, powerful, super focused energy as
Okay.
opposed to low, slumpy, depressed, scraping the bottom of the barrel energy, right?
Right.
It just think of it in terms of energy vibration. So I think in order to get through our world today, we need to try to be vibrating on a much higher level. So I thought it would be good if we talked about what is high vibration, what types of things create a high vibration, and what types of things that we're doing in our daily life that could be creating a low vibration. And then once we kind of understand it, we can start maybe moving away from low vibrating things and
Okay.
move more towards high vibrating things so you can withstand stress and not turn into a crazy person.
Okay.
I think that's what I want to talk about.
How do we get started?
Okay. So the first thing is if you want to raise your vibration, you want to be moving into a state of feeling gratitude and practicing kindness and experiencing more love and joy and passion and more forgiveness in your life. You want to start doing more daily exercise so you have a way of keeping your body in balance. You want to do things like you want to do more hugging and singing and kissing and eating good whole foods like green foods and nuts and seeds and foods from the ground, all 100% natural foods, listening to relaxing music, singing to great music, getting into maybe more the creative side of yourself. So these are all things that have been shown. Laughing. Oh my gosh, I love laughing. You and I laugh a lot.
We do laugh a
So
lot.
you just laughed. You and I laugh a lot. And I think laughing is one of the easiest, most pleasurable ways of raising your vibration.
Now, how about
So,
laughing at someone? Does that
oh,
help?
even better. Oh, no, that's even better.
I'm not laughing with you. I'm laughing at you. No.
Yeah. And if you can't laugh at yourself, that's a low vibrating, a trait.
Okay.
So you want to learn how to laugh at yourself to raise your vibration, right? Because we
Right.
all should kind of know how to laugh at ourselves. If you're not laughing at yourself, you got some issues going on. Okay, so I want to touch on the low vibration aspects of people's personality, but also kind of some of the things that they get caught up in that lowers their vibration. Okay, the obvious one is junk food.
What's wrong with junk food?
Junk food vibrates on the lowest possible level. It's filled with preservatives.
You're
artificial
telling me that
colorings.
Cheetos, I mean, these are the cheesiest, that those don't have good vibrations? I mean,
You're
you
sick.
watch the commercials that Chester Cheetah makes you happy.
Okay, whenever you put something in your mouth, Rusty, I want you to ask yourself, is this a high vibrating food or a low vibrating food?
Okay.
If it's in plastic, this is not always true because there's some really good organic foods in
Salads
plastic.
are in plastic.
Okay, that's what I just said. There's
Yeah.
some really good whole organic foods in plastic. But if it's a plastic wrap package and it's not, if it's man-made, if it's been taken by man and tweaked, okay, probably a low vibrating food. So Cheetos would definitely fall in that
Okay,
category.
but not Oreos. Oreos would be good.
Straight up low vibrating food. Okay, they're delicious. I'll
Yeah.
admit they're delicious, but
Okay, so
Junk food-
junk
junk
food is
food.
bad.
junk
I mean,
food
obviously,
is bad.
but
Right.
I didn't know
Because
that it
what-
would have bad vibrations.
and when we're talking about vibration, we're talking about when you eat those foods, they're like a depressant. Okay, they depress your energy and they can depress your neurobrain chemicals to cause more depression.
But I thought
So
like they did things to, like I've heard this with like Doritos, that they put stuff in there to make you feel good.
yes, but it only lasts for a very short time.
Okay.
And then the depression after that is pretty significant. So that's what starts the whole habituation process of junk food is that, and they are created that way to create an habituation. So they're very habit forming. And you think Cheetos can't be habit forming. They're straight up habit forming. So because they do create a response chemically in you that's very addicting. So when it goes down, it actually goes down. Your neurobrain chemicals go lower than they were before you started eating the Cheetos. And the thing that you want to eat after that is not broccoli, it's more Cheetos. So
that's designed that way, right?
It's totally designed that way, and it's very habit forming. Sugar's much worse. They say sugar has the same addiction potential as heroin.
Is that why they put it in everything nowadays, you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
it's so evil. I mean, we're just
evil.
trying to live our lives and do the right things, and we got people. I don't want to sound like some big crazy conspiracy theorist, but we've got these big corporations or groups that are shoving stuff down our throats that make it so life isn't going to last as long or as healthy. It just doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, it's a big money thing, right? Yeah. It's not really that dynamic. It's just about money. Mm-hmm. And it's about addiction, and people don't really realize how addicted they are. They just think, oh, it just tastes really good and I like it, but they're addicted to it. So anyway, junk food is a problem. So just think about, did it come from the ground and has it been altered by man? And you shouldn't be eating it very often.
Okay.
Occasionally, maybe a little bit. So this is what I've been trying to do because I am a sugarholic. My whole life, my whole family is sugarholics. We all love sugar, but it's something I always have to try to work on, always. Okay. So this is what I try to do. So we'll use Oreos as an example. Okay. Not that I ever have Oreos in my house, but if I were to go to somebody else's house and they had Oreos, I would probably pick one up.
You'd be all over them. Okay.
Trust me, I'm not perfect in this area. I would probably pick one up, but this is what I try to do now. I try to have like a bite.
Okay.
Because the reality is it's like the first drink of beer. That's the only good part about beer is just the first drink. It's like very quenching, or the first drink of wine or whatever. It's still okay after that, but you really only need one bite. So just take one bite and then put it in the garbage can. Now, I would have to actually put it in the very bottom of the garbage can and mix something
Why,
gross
you dig
on
them? You'll dig
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. I would dig it out. It's sick. It is a sick thing, but I would probably dig it out. So I have to put it like in the bottom of the garbage can and get my coffee grounds to rub all over it. So I wouldn't dig it out. So junk food is number one on the low vibrating list. Hard alcohol is another one. We haven't seen that so much with wine, and a little bit less with beer, but hard alcohol actually vibrates at a very low level. So really check yourself. And if you're drinking a hard alcohol drink every night, I would suggest that maybe you reduce that to 1 or 2 nights a week, or less. So just think about that. And the more you drink, the worse it gets.
I would think drugs would really be low vibration.
Yes, drugs on the list. Any kind of toxic products or toxic substances that are not native to the human body are going to vibrate at a very low level. Mm-hmm. White sugar is awful, awful, awful. Even though it's delicious, it's awful. It is. It's just awful. It's very, very, very low vibrating. Certain types of medication, in fact, a lot of medication vibrates at a very low level, even though it's necessary for many people to take medication. Radiation, yelling, and arguing are both things that can take a very high vibrating person and lower their vibration, their energy field immediately. So not controlling your temper and yelling and getting all caught up in a conversation where maybe somebody said something to you or texted you or emailed you and it just set you off, and then you go and tell 3 other people. You retell the story 3 times.
Or you Facebook it.
Or you Facebook, oh, even worse if you
Mm-hmm.
Facebook it. Now everybody gets to comment for the next, 30 days
Right.
about your obnoxious comment on Facebook. These are very low vibrating um, mannerisms and habits that we have a tendency to do because we're getting a response from it, right? Even if it's negative, we're still getting a response, but the response internally and for your energy is low. So you could be doing all these great things like practicing gratitude and trying to eat well and hugging people and experiencing a lot of laughing and all those things. Um, it's getting good sleep at night is another high vibrating thing to do. But if you're not in control of your temper and you're yelling and you're getting overly involved in gossip and then repeating it and negativity, you're going to just blow all the good vibrating things you're doing. It's really just like a teeter-totter. You want to be vibrating at a high level so you can be high on the teeter-totter,
Okay.
not low.
What
So,
does being low energy? It's not. It does it. Low vibration. What does that do to you? Does it lower your energy?
yes.
Yeah. How does that affect my life if I'm acting that way?
So, if you think about what it feels like in your body when you laugh and you're with people that you love and you have so much love in your heart for people, if you take that, maybe just sit there and close your eyes and think about a couple of experiences that you've had in your life that or there's hopefully thousands of experiences you've had in your life where you're laughing and really loving on somebody, and everybody can think of a situation. How does that make you feel in your body versus a blow up with somebody and extreme anger and then follow up resentment?
Mm-hmm.
So what it does internally to you is it causes fatigue. It causes confusion. It causes you not to be able to focus. It causes you angst. It causes you to feel like you got to go take a nap or definitely have a drink. It makes you want to eat sugar. It makes you want to do bad things for yourself.
Hmm.
So when you're low, when you're vibrating at a low level because you're doing all of these low vibrating habits or participating in them on a regular basis, especially emotionally charged negative habits, guilt, resentment, anger, holding on to the past, yelling, arguing, screaming, all of those things, if that's part of your life or even daily, it's a little part of your life,
Yeah.
you're not going to feel well. Something is going to happen to you that is bad physically. So you're not going to feel well. You won't sleep well at night. Your concentration, your memory. Some people feel dizzy. Your cravings will be out of control. You won't be able to get your weight in control. So those are just some of the things
Quit
that
looking
happen.
at me. I'm
What?
kidding. I said, quit looking at me.
I love looking at you.
Like it's like you just described me. So okay. So how
That's just because you're feeling guilty at some of these things, but
I am.
everybody
So
does
how do
them.
I fix it? What do we do to make things
Yes.
better?
I'm going to go through 8 things that you can do to raise your vibration, and I won't spend a lot of time on them because they're kind of obvious.
Okay.
But the first thing that you want to do is you want to become conscious of your own thoughts. And I want to tell this little story about something that I did many, many years ago. I think it was like 94, 93 with some of my patients. I took 3 patients, female patients, and I asked them to write down all of their thoughts. I was actually doing a side study. I asked them to write down all of the thoughts that came into their head for 3 straight days. Now, it could be a thought that came into their head, or it could be something that they actually audibly said. So they kind of thought I was nutty, but I said, would you just please do it? And so they did it and they brought him back to me. And I kind of knew what I might see, but Rusty, I was so floored when I saw the results of what happened in 3 days with women. Now,
Okay.
these were not nut job women. I mean, these were not women on medication. They were not experiencing anxiety or depression. They really didn't have any psychological issues going on. Rusty, pages and pages and pages of thoughts that were, I'm going to say, 80 to 85% negative. Getting up in the morning and looking in the mirror, their thought was, I hate my thighs. Looking at their stomach,
Huh.
why is my stomach so fat? My pants are too tight. I got up too late. I didn't sleep well last night. My husband is driving me absolutely bonkers. My kids never clean their room. I'm late to work again. Why didn't I fill up my gas tank last night with gas? I mean, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable the thoughts and the words that came out of those women's mouths for 3 days.
Wow.
And I was thinking like how dynamic is this, right? Because if you took a child and you were the parent of that child, and I loved parenting my daughter so incredibly much, and I train dogs this way, is just really really focus on positivity, right?
Okay.
But if you took a little child or even a dog and you said 75% of your language to that child or dog was negative and um, uh, kind of downing them, what would that child turn out like?
Right.
It would be awful. So it really made me realize that people have so many thoughts about themselves and about their life that's not positive. And it takes many more positives to offset a negative. But if 75% of what your thoughts are negative, how in the world can you ever vibrate on a high level?
And is there a
So
way to fix that? Like with your kid, maybe you weren't as positive as you should have been, and now they're a little bit older. Can you fix that, or is it you made the software and that's just the way it's going to be?
I actually think you can totally fix a poor relationship with your children even later on in life because it's all about fixing yourself. Because I really, and I believe this more now than any other time in my life, when you become a high vibrating, authentic, beautiful, loving person, it transcends and it moves out to the closest people around you that you love dearly, that are very important to you, and it changes their lives.
Hmm.
It's very infectious. High vibrating people are very infectious. You've walked into a room, Rusty. You're a very high vibrating person. You're one of the highest vibrating people I know.
I
You're
am?
just you're just up.
Huh.
You're happy, you're beautiful, and you're just up. And when people walk into a room and you're in the room, haven't you ever noticed that people like gravitate to you? You're laughing, you're smiling, you're engaging, you've got great eye contact, you're hilarious. And so you know what I mean about high vibrating people, right?
Hmm.
Like they're infectious, like people want to be next to them. But
Right.
it's not because they're negative in their thoughts. They're positive in their thoughts. They're not going to let negativity rule their life. So I would just say instead of saying I got 6 hours of sleep last night and I'm going to be dead today, don't say that. Change your thoughts, change your language. Instead, say something like this: I got 6 great hours of sleep last night and I'm going to power through my day.
So
Because the reality is, Rusty, how are you going to change it anyway? It's already
right.
done.
So
It's already
the
done.
whole idea is just to make sure that you are thinking positive thoughts as opposed to allowing the negative ones to get in there. The power of positive thinking, those kind of things,
Yes,
actually do work, is what you're saying.
they do work because it changes your vibration. So ultimately it helps you physically feel well. And so changing your thoughts is really important. And you just need to try to catch yourself when you have that. And this, I'm not talking about being a Pollyanna, because Lord knows I'm not a Pollyanna. I don't like to sugarcoat anything. What you see is what you get with me. So I still deal with problems straight on. I'm very swift at dealing with problems. I call them as I see them. But I don't wrestle with it. I don't go into a negative situation or something that I have to deal with that's very difficult. I don't ignore it. I deal with it, but I don't have to keep repeating it and processing it for weeks and getting mad about it. I just deal with it. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, is changing our thoughts so that we can really show up for ourselves and raise our energy.
That's great advice. That's
Okay,
awesome.
number two. I'm going to move a little faster
Yeah.
now. Number two, find something beautiful and appreciate it. And it could be driving to work, and instead of focusing on how slow everybody's going in front of you, which is a classic problem of mine because I do get a little road rage, but not as much anymore. Not as much.
You
Not
should
as
see her car, folks. Nisha
I
has a
like
Nisha likes going fast. You got a fast car.
I've got two fast cars. I
Yeah.
love going fast. And I don't like to be behind slow people. It really bugs me. But what I'm really trying to do more these days, and maybe y'all should try this, is just appreciating the beauty as you're driving. Appreciate the beautiful trees, um, whatever. Try to find something that's beautiful and appreciate it. And that could include something beautiful in your partner, or something beautiful in your children, or something beautiful about your dog.
You
I
could
love
you could
dogs.
even go, isn't that beautiful graffiti? That guy, that kid who painted that, man, he's got talent.
You know what? You have a way of really tweaking my material.
Just a little.
All right, next thing.
Yeah.
Be conscious of the foods you eat. Okay, I just went off on my little diatribe on sugar and junk food. Bottom line, ask yourself, when you put something in your mouth, is it a high vibrating food or a low vibrating food? Did it come from the ground? Does it walk around? Did it come from the sea? Is it a nut or a seed? Okay, if it's not any of those things, I would limit your exposure to them, because there's no reason to feel worse than
Okay.
you already do.
All right.
Also, of note, I just learned this weekend at the provider at our medical retreat that I just put on. I had no idea that peanut M&Ms, the coloring is actually laced with petroleum.
Now, I can tell you something. I did not know that, but here's what I do know. That peanut M&Ms are by far the biggest seller in candy machines.
They're so good.
Yeah. So
They're so good. I've actually heard people say, well, they've got nuts in them.
exactly, they're healthy.
I've actually said that. Like, if you're going to have a candy, why don't you have peanut M&Ms? Well, now I'm eating petroleum. I can't have peanut
Why
M&Ms.
would they put petroleum in? I mean, come on. How do we?
It's part of the ingredient of the coloring of peanut M&Ms and non-peanut M&Ms. I mean, it's part of the artificial coloring
How
process.
does some guy go, I need a green. I got this stuff. Hey, could somebody go to the gas station and bring me like a gallon? I just want to try something out. How does that start off?
It's sick. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's sick. We are putting toxins in our body, and we're messing up our vibration by eating peanut M&Ms.
Hey, Jimmy, could you give me a little meth? I just want to try it in this coloring. See how that works. Wow.
All right, next vibrating principle, drink water. For Pete's sake, drink a lot of water. Drink a gallon of water a day.
Does the alkaline water, does that make a difference? The stuff you see like Core and these alkaline, does that make a difference? I'm paying extra. I've had people laugh at me saying that's just stupid, but it seems to be different. But maybe I'm just being silly.
Alkaline water is a good idea, but again, this is how America just goes crazy on things. They get their teeth into something like, wow, it's really good to not have an acidic pH in your body, because that can lead to a lot of cancer producing problems and many other things, chronic fatigue, autoimmune disorder, But too much alkaline is not good either. You're supposed to have balance. And so do not OD on alkaline water. Don't OD on it.
So drink that all the time. That makes it different. Okay.
I would not drink it all the time. I'm sure there's people that would argue with me on that, but you can become too alkaline in your body's pH too. So again,
can you please make it
filtered
easy?
water.
I'm trying to do the right thing. Now I'm in trouble for drinking too much good water. It never stops.
Just everything in moderation. I mean, whenever you hear, I always said, when all the cows are moving one way, maybe you should just take notice that you shouldn't go overboard.
Yeah.
Okay. Just don't go overboard. Even good things you can have too much of. But filtered water, 64 ounces of filtered water. If some of it's alkaline water, awesome.
Okay.
But you don't need to be ODing on alkaline water. Okay. Meditation. Number 5 is meditation. Quieting your brain. You don't have to do the traditional meditation, because a lot of people get hung up on, I can't sit. My mind is like a monkey mind.
Right.
I can't do it. I don't have time. My kids are running around being loud. So don't get hung up on having to do very traditional meditation.
Is there a book or something that you suggest on how to meditate?
No, I'm not gonna recommend a book, even though there's thousands of them out there, because I just try to keep things simple.
Okay.
So here's the deal. When I say meditate, I'm really talking about clearing your mind. And so that you give your brain a break. Think about all the millions of things that come into your mind a day. Like all of this sensory overload that is just invading your brain. And you're trying to process all these people talking and all the social media and all this stuff at work and emails and phone calls and voicemails. And so what I'm thinking would be really helpful, and it has really saved me for many, many years, is giving your brain a 10-minute break. If you could start in the morning, let's say instead of bolting out of bed when your alarm goes off and now your whole body is in an alarmed state, instead of bolting out of bed, maybe change your alarm to be a little bit more peaceful, still wake you up, but peaceful, and lay in bed for just a second or two or a couple of minutes and just set your intentions for the day. Maybe think about, how do I want my day to be? What kind of person do I want to be today? How do I want to show up for the people that I really love? Then get out of bed and start your day.
Okay.
Then possibly either before you go to work or before you start your day, possibly spend 10 minutes just clearing out your brain. And I don't even care where you're at. You could be putting on your makeup and shutting the door. Don't have any music on. Don't be answering emails. Don't turn your phone off. 10 minutes of nothing going into your brain and not processing. Or better yet, when you're driving home at night, I think it would be better if we all parked about 10 or 15 minutes away from our work and walked to work if we could, and then walked back to their car after work. Because what that does is it gives you some space between leaving your family at home and all your family dynamics at home, so that when you get to work, you show up for work and you show up as your best self for work.
Okay.
Or even better, when you're driving home or you're walking back to your car, wherever it might be, you got to have some separation between work and home. Because the last thing you want to do, which is a very low vibrating principle, is come home from work and barf all of your stuff of your day all over the people that you love the most. So taking a little bit of time, even if it's 10 minutes, maybe on your way home, park your car on the side of the road in a safe place and just maybe sit your seat back in your car and spend 10 minutes clearing your brain, breathing, and clearing your brain. No music, no phone, no emails, just clearing your brain. 10 minutes, like that's nothing. And so what that does is it resets you and it raises your vibration so that you can go home and give your family the best, and you've left that stuff somewhere else.
Awesome.
So that's what I think about with meditation.
Okay.
Of course, there's many more ways to do it, but that's just a suggestion. Being grateful, keeping maybe a little book in your purse or in your car or at your desk, and writing down things that you're grateful for, or showing gratitude towards people, like saying thank you and acknowledging. We get in such a hurry that we don't even say thank you anymore. We don't even look at people in the face anymore. I just hired this practitioner from Washington, D.C., and she said everybody walks around Washington, D.C., and they don't even make eye contact. And if they do, they don't smile.
Right.
And being grateful for people is so important. Like, human connection is the most important thing in the whole world. And being grateful is part of human connection. And writing it down is even better, because that really seeds it in when you write it down. Practicing the act of kindness goes along with being grateful. When you see somebody, think about doing something kind to them. Possibly if you're a boss or you're in a leadership position, or with your children, and you have to address something that's difficult with somebody at work that you're really struggling with, it's a conflict or it's a confrontation. Maybe also follow it up with, how was your vacation last week? Or how are you doing with this thing in your life? Showing acts of kindness, which means that you got to try to connect up with people, is very important. And it's a very high vibrating principle to practice kindness. Jumping in, helping people that need help, all of those things. There's lots of ways, giving back. There's all sorts of acts of kindness that you can participate in. And last, but certainly not least,
Yes.
get your blood pumping.
Okay.
Get your blood pumping. Move your body. Because here's the deal, Rusty. We've talked about this before. We're always like processing in our head, but we're not processing in our body. We're not moving our bodies. So there becomes this terrible imbalance between your brain and your body. And it's so hard to vibrate at a high level and feel good energy when your body's stuck. So moving your body every day, I don't even care what you do. It could be 15 minutes where you're you're going hard for a minute and then you rest for 30 seconds. Then you go hard for a minute and rest for 30 seconds. And you just do 15 minutes because you would have huge benefits with just doing 15 minutes.
Okay.
But getting your blood pumping to the point of sweating is super important every single day, not 2 days a week, not 3 days a week, but 7 days a week.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's it.
All right.
That's my vibration.
All right. That's a good show. A lot to absorb here. Probably should listen to this show maybe a second time, watch it again. By the way, if you would please tell your friends about the Dr. Nisha Jackson show. Forward this if you've got the video link, or forward it on if you're listening to the podcast. Subscribe if you would to the video channel, to the podcast channel. Make sure you get each and every one of the shows because they're all not only informative but interesting as well. Dr. Nisha Jackson, the best way to find you online is where?
You can go to nishajackson.com, Nisha Jackson.com. That's probably the best place to go. My medical office's website is peakmedicalclinic.com.
Right.
Peak, P-E-A-K. Like I've reached the peak.
You reached the peak. And, of course, her book is out there right now, too. Brilliant Burnout, How Successful Driven Women Can Stay in the Game by Rewiring Their Bodies, Brains, and Hormones by Nisha Jackson, Ph.D. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here at the Dr. Nisha Jackson. I know your name. Dr. Nisha Jackson Show. See you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.